So that's actually good because we'll handle it. This is the more natural, and she got bigger. Hey, pretty girl. Okay, cool beans. So, yeah, that's that initial. It's been a minute, so we're just gonna let her, just kind of get it out. Yeah. So, tell me what exactly is it? And I know we spoke about it in the messages, but of course, in real time is always better because I get to see behavior in real time. I get to see what you guys are doing in real time. So just kind of tell me some of the things that you want to, that you want to work on. Okay. 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 She. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. It's so weird. Like yeah. 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 So, considering some of the breeds that's in her, that's that natural defensive nature that, or the other word would be protective nature. And of course, with men, some dogs, just like with people, they have a natural, what's the word? Aversion, because of voice, because of size, right? All of those things mean more danger, right? So what she's displaying is, and for whatever reason, it could just be her naturally. Sometimes dogs develop aversions to specific people because of experience. Now, she's such a small puppy, I doubt she's had any adversive experience with men, right? Now, it's possible, but I doubt because she's so young. If she was older, then I could say maybe she had some kind of issue with men, and now she's, adversive to men. So for her, I think it's more of a natural thing just because, hey, I mean, if I'm being honest, big black man, deep voice, honestly, all of those things matter. So. It's like any guy in general. Any guy. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. So what you do now, the question is, do you totally want to stop it or do you just want to be able to control it? You want to be able to control it. Okay. I was going to say it's not necessarily, in my opinion, it's not necessarily a bad thing that she's actually communicating to you that I see danger, right? So now what we want to do is be able to communicate to her, thank you for alerting me to the danger, but it's okay. I got it from you, right? So now what you do, right, is grab the leash. No, well, let me ask you this first. What do you normally do? Stay calm, I guess. Okay. And then eventually she calms down? I mean, usually when she's exposed to this, it's either because a couple weeks ago there were like workers upstairs. Okay. So we go outside. Yep. We just walk by. And then we just walk back in. Okay. The situation will be over. Gotcha. Okay. But this is the longest. This is the longest. Yeah. Okay. So I usually just stand, hold the leash, and just okay. Yeah. So here's what you do. Grab the leash. Don't say anything to it just yet. Okay. Now what you want to do is get it to where it's enough, where it's not so slack, but it's not super tight, but about right there. Right. Now what you're gonna do is just an easy no with a little pop of the leash, right? And tell her to come to you, right? So wait for her to kind of get out here. That way you have the space to have her recall to you, right? All right. So first, here's what I want to do. Before you even use any corrective measures with the tool, I want you to try to see if you can use your voice and just tell her no and tell her come. Okay. So now what you do is go straight to, because the name can be good, right? Okay. She's not quite to that level yet where you can just call her name and get her attention, right? So we don't want to miscommunicate what the name means, because remember, anytime we call a dog's name, we want the dog to be happy and excited to come, right? Because that's what her name means, right? So now what you do is go to more of a corrective measure, right? And the corrective would be no, right? With a assertive tone, right? Now, if the no with the assertive tone doesn't work, then we can go to the physical, right? But I call this do least to get the most. We always want to give the dog the opportunity to respond to the least amount of adverse corrections, right? Because especially with a dog like her that already has heightened anxiety, we don't want the correction to be unfair, right? So it's kind of like playing with the dial to see what works, right? Yeah. So start with the no with an assertive tone, and then what you're looking for. Here's what you're looking for. You're looking for her to do this. As soon as she gives you her attention, you invite her in with love. That's when you call her name, Una, come, right?
No. No.
Okay.
No.
Make it a little sharper. Like, there you go. There you go. There you go. That's what you want. Okay. So now we're gonna do that again, right? Make that no a little sharper. No, right? Almost like you're trying to what's the word? Startle her a little bit. Go ahead.
No. No.
There you go. Perfect. Did you see that?
Yeah.
You see how I got a little sharper and she turned her head? Right? Yep. So that's what you want. It's that tonality, right? No is not necessarily that she truly understands what no means. It's the tonality. Yes.
They're more sensitive to the tone, right?
Exactly. Yep.
No. No.
There you go. Now, there you go. Good. So what you do, give yourself a little space, right? So give yourself a little bit more leash, right? There you go. And the reason why you're doing that is because you're giving her that opportunity. Once you say no, that way you have the space to say, hey, come to me, right? Because all that is you're working on a recall, right? And what this is going to translate to is when you're out in the park somewhere, right? And she's barking at somebody, or, she's off doing what to do. You just wanted to come back. Una, no, come, right? So,
No.
there you go. Good girl. Yes. Yep. Tell her good girl.
Good girl.
Good. Now what you do, give her even more leash, right? And again, all you're doing is working on the recall, right? So yeah, you can actually give her all of the leash. Give her all of the leash. Yep. And what I want you to do, give her that sharp no again, right? And then as soon as she turns her head, you start backing up a little bit, right? Because that's going to entice her to come to you, right? And as you're backing up, you're saying, Una, come, right? Your hand is like like when the plane is landing, right? It's you see what I mean? So you're ushering her into you. Yep.
No. No.
A little sharper.
No.
There you go. Yep. So now what you got to do, right? You got the no, right? We still got to get it a little sharper on that first one, right? But now here's the other thing, right? Once you get her attention, you got to go animate it, right? Because if you're not as exactly, right? But also you got to believe what you're saying, but also you got to remember you have to be more interesting than me, right? So once you get the eye contact, you got to keep it, right? It's like your wife. You could get her attention in the beginning, but now the hard work is keeping it, right? Doing the things that she likes for you to do so you can keep her, right?
No.
There you go. Yep, she gave it to you. Yep.
No.
There you go. Get animated. Say, good girl.
No. Una. Come.
Good girl. Give her that good girl. There you go. You see how that tail starts wagging when you say good girl, right? So you got to use that to your advantage, right? So you did good with the body language. You came down to her, right? Now, again, the tonality. Good girl, right? Yeah, get expressive with your voice.
I don't know about this leash. It keeps.
Yeah, it's all good. Don't, yeah, because, I mean, really, that's just to keep her from totally being free, right? Really, what I'm focusing on is you using your voice to control her.
All right. No. Come. Good girl.
There you go. Good. Good. Okay. Good. Yep, we do it. Huh?
I mean, she's barking and she's like doing that.
Well, it's so a tail wag could mean a few different things, right? And this is where a lot of people get confused with tail wags because they think dogs wagging their tail always means that they're happy. Sometimes that means confusion. Sometimes that means insecurity, right? Sometimes that means full on fear. It depends on how fast. You see how hers is low and wagging? That's insecurity, right? If it was high, right, and stiff, that's actually aggression, right? Yeah, it depends, right?
Okay.
If it's stiff and doing like little short, stiff wags, that's more of a aggression type or dominance type wag, right? But when it's mid like this, right, that's typically like a happy kind of wag, right? Typically. So all wags are not equal, right? So, and that's a great way to understand what a dog is thinking by looking at the tail, right? Looking at the ears, looking at the headset. If the head is low, right, and kind of looking like I'm kind of unsure what's going on, then we pretty much know that the dog can have some fear, anxiety, or insecurity in there, right?
Okay.
Yeah, good. So, yep. So let's do that a few more times.
No. No.
There you go. Good girl. Big good girl.
Come. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl.
There you go. Good.
All right.
Okay. There you go. So, huh? Good. That's okay. That's okay because what we're going to do eventually, I'm going to have you give her a command to stay next to your side, right? Right now, I just want you to perfect that first step of redirecting, right? Redirecting her attention and then maintaining it, right? It's I call it my reading, right? Or READ. It's an acronym for redirect,
Okay.
engage, affection, right? Because once they give you the engagement, which is that eye contact we were talking about, you give them affection for that. It's no different like if I call your name, right? And you give me your attention, I say thank you for giving me your attention, right? So we're thanking her for giving us the attention or giving you the attention, and then you give her direction, right? So it's redirection, engagement, affection, direction, right? So we haven't gotten to the direction just yet. We're still working on the redirection, engagement, affection.
All right. Well, she's kind of.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
So what you do now, right? Now we can take it to the little tap, right? Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. We can take it to the little tap, right? So what you do, you say her name, Una, and if she doesn't respond, tap Una, right? Because all that tap is doing, that's the assertive tap on the shoulder. Hey, I'm calling you.
Okay. All right. So just call out her name and then.
Say her name first, yeah.
Okay. Una.
Tap.
Una.
Make that tap a little bit more assertive.
Una.
There you go. Good.
Una.
There you go. Do it one more time.
Una.
There you go. Come, tell her come. There you go. Good, good, good. There you go. Good. So let's try that again. Yep. Give her all a leash. Good. Let her play with it or let her bark or do whatever she wants to do. Right.
No. Una. Una.
There you go. Good, good. There you go. Keep backing up. Keep backing up.
Una.
Tap the leash again.
Una. Come.
There you go. Good. There you go. Yeah. There you go.
Good girl.
Good. Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. If you notice, I haven't said anything to her yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm just letting her adjust to me.
Okay.
Because a lot of the time, and I think we spoke about this before, when you have dogs like this, the worst thing somebody can do is bombard them with, energy. If you notice, every time I make the slightest movement,
I noticed that.
yeah,
Because you can't really stop people from like saying hi to the dog.
yeah,
So it really depends. I guess like it depends on the person.
yep,
They're like, oh, she's a kind of
yeah.
That's when she starts.
That's when she, yeah.
Yeah.
She doesn't like it. And, it's kind of one of those things where you have to tell people, like, hey, look, she's in training. I don't mind you petting her, but do me a favor. Let me get her comfortable, or this is the proper way to do it, right? If they really want to pet her, all they have to do is come down to her level, right? And let her come to them, right? Don't tell them, hey, you see she's a little scared, right? If she wants to come to you, she'll come to you. If she doesn't, she doesn't, right? And that's where you got to get people to understand, hey, my dog has boundaries too, right? People forget that. Like, we forget that dogs have personalities and characteristics too, just like humans, right? So, it's a weird thing because you would think you wouldn't have to tell adult humans that, but you do.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, it's just kind of one of those things where you're educating people, protecting your dog at the same time, because if people just keep bombarding her, then she's going to get more and more adversive because she doesn't like it. She doesn't like when, especially men, rush up on her like that, right? That's always going to be her thing. That is just who she is genetically. We can't change that, right? And we don't want to punish her for that. So we just have to educate the people, like, hey, look, just give her a minute, right? If she wants to come to you, she'll come to you, right? If not, hey, maybe we'll try again another day. You know what I mean? Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
No. Una. No. Una.
There you go. Just
No. Una. Come. Una.
okay. Yeah, it's okay. Yep, you got to work on that tap. You got to make that tap a little bit more. Yep, a little bit more convincing.
Una.
There you go. That was a good one.
Una.
Yep.
Una.
There you go. Perfect. 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 Right? So the other key thing is you don't want to give the command until you have her attention, right? Until she turns around and says, okay, Dad, what is it that you want? That's when you give the command. Before then, it's una, una, until you get that head turn. That's when you give, good girl, come, right? That's the direction that I was talking about. That's the end piece of that read, right? So you got to get her attention first. Because if you don't, when you're saying come and she's still like this, it means nothing. And it actually devalues the word. Yep.
Okay. Una. 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 Come.
Oh,
Una. No. Una.
there you go. Good girl.
Good girl.
There you go.
All right. Okay.
Good.
Get it.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So how do we
Uh-huh.
just wait for her until she calms down?
No. So what we're doing here is, right, eventually what this is going to lead to, the no, the way I use no, that means stop doing what you're doing, right? It doesn't matter what it is, right? So eventually you're going to be able to tell her no, and the barking will subside. But what you have to do is you have to make that no convincing, right?
Okay.
It has to be convincing.
Yeah, it's not right.
Yeah,
I have the moment right now.
Exactly. You have to believe that when you say no, that she's gonna stop.
Okay.
Right? So, and again, it's kind of like turning up the heat of the oven, right? You start with level 1. If that's not boiling the water fast enough, You turn it up to 2, right? You keep turning it up until the water is boiling, right? And what that means is if you start with a no and it doesn't work, the next one goes to no. If it doesn't work, no.
Okay. There you go. All right.
You see what I mean?
Okay.
So your tone has to match her energy. And eventually you'll be able to, as you get better at it, you won't have to use so many no's because you will know based on her energy what tone you have to use immediately, right? But it takes a little practice.
Oh yeah.
It takes a little practice. But the most important thing is you have to believe it.
So this doesn't necessarily apply to situations where she's uncomfortable or confused. Because you just like a normal walk, which is when we're trying to move forward and she's like fixated on something.
It's the same thing.
I can apply that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's the same thing, right? Anytime you want to redirect her energy or redirect her attention, it's the same process, right? She gets fixated on something. Una, right? First thing, use her name to see if it works. Give her the benefit of the doubt, right? If the Una doesn't work, right? Because again, even though we use Una as a redirection because that's her name, we don't want to use it as a correction, right?
All right.
And eventually she will get to the point to where even, and I'm trying to explain this to where it doesn't sound so confusing. It's no different than, right, if when you were a child and your parents called your name when you were doing something wrong, right? Even though it was in an assertive way, you still responded because of the muscle memory of you knowing that your name means my parents want my attention, right? So it's the same thing with her. Eventually, if she's doing something, like super bad, you will be able to say, Una, and she'll respond to it. But now, because she's still really learning her name, she's still really learning the differences, we're trying to reserve her name for positive, right? Because that will help build that muscle memory faster. So basically what I'm saying is the first time you say Una, if she doesn't respond, you say, hey, no, right? And again, matching your tone with the correction or with the action that she's doing.
Okay. All right. No. No. No.
Okay. So now what you do, once you hit like 3 no's, tap.
No.
Okay.
Una.
Good.
Una.
There you go. Good. That was a good tap. Do it again.
Una.
Okay. There you go. There we go.
Good girl. All right. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just working on, your timing of the taps, your assertiveness, right, in the taps. So let's do it again.
All right, let's start with the.
Yeah, just call her name.
No. No. Una. Come.
There you go. Good.
Good girl.
Okay.
So, is it okay to just keep calling out her name? Do I need to make sounds and then sandwich her name in between?
So again, it's one of those things where discernment, right?
Okay.
This is one of those things where it's not so cookie cutter. So like I said, normally what I like to do, right? And everybody's going to be slightly different, right?
Okay.
But again, the name is similar to no, right? But no becomes more of a correction than no is more of a redirection, right? It's not even
No.
It's weird. It's a redirection and it's a correction, just depending on the situation, right? So if I told her to sit and she gets out of that sit, then no is a correction. Because what I'm saying is stop. I told you to sit, right? So stop and put your butt back on the ground, right? Now, also, no is a redirection because if she's doing something, we didn't give her a command, right? So if she's just barking or whatever, right? And you say, hey, no, you're looking for that eye contact so you can actually give or replace the behavior that she's doing, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Another behavior is the leash, the one I sent on the message.
Okay.
So here's exactly what's happening. I try to put the leash on or take the leash on, and then she starts nipping.
Okay.
So I did try to. Oh, sorry. You know that the push that you.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm doing it.
Okay.
I need to practice more.
Yeah. So let me see what you do.
Working.
Yeah. Let me see.
Okay. Like.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you need a little bit more follow through with it, right? Okay. So, and what the follow through looks like is, again, if let's say someone that I don't know is trying to come hug me, right?
Okay.
And I give them initial, hey man, right? You're in my space, right? And they keep trying to come in my space. What I'm gonna do is maintain the touch, right? To keep the distance, right? So if you give that initial touch and she doesn't stop, hold it. You see? Just hold it there until she stops. But it has to be stiff and holding it there, right?
So mostly here in the neck part?
I mean, so it really could be anywhere.
Okay.
It really could be anywhere. Now, the neck is the most sensitive, which means it's the most easy to communicate, right? Because typically when dogs are correcting other dogs, it's typically in the neck, right? Good girl. Yeah, hey, Una. Hey, come here. Come on. Come on. We were best friends for a minute. You forget me that fast? It's okay. So typically when dogs correct one another, it's in the neck area, right? You can also do the flank. Now, if you're trying to get her attention, right, that touch in the flank will make her turn around to you, right? So it's kind of one of those things where it depends on what you're doing, is how you're going to use that touch.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let me. Try to. What?
You tell a good girl, you gotta be more gotta be more animated in that good girl. Because remember, the reward, the correction must match the behavior, and the reward must match the behavior, right? So if we want her to be excited to come to you, we got to get excited for her coming to you, right?
Okay.
Right? So now, perfect, right? Okay. Or what you can also do is take that leash just like you have it and just hold it up until she stops nipping. That may be, huh?
She's never gonna stop nipping, right?
Oh yeah, she'll stop nipping. Yeah, that's a combination of one, she hasn't been told convincingly that behavior is egregious, right? And two, she's a puppy. So it's the puppy nips, right? So that's more like a playful nip. That's an aggressive nip or anything like that. You know, all puppies kind of go through that phase. But again, you do want to correct that before it gets out of hand. Because as she gets older, that can turn into a corrective nip, right? So,
or an actual bite.
Or actual bite, right? Yeah. So especially with a dog like her where she already has a defensive nature, can turn into what we call a fear bite, right? Yeah. Good.
No. 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 Una.
There you go. Good. You see, she wants to. If you notice, she kind of turns around, but she doesn't fully commit.
Okay.
That's because you got to give a little bit more juice in that, in that no. But you see, she's starting to get it, right? She'll kind of turn, and she's like, it's not really that important. Let me go back here, right? A little bit more juice in that no, right? And she'll fully commit to turning around to you.
Yeah,
Good.
that's just mainly just.
Huh?
I mean, that's just mainly my concern right now. It's just snap her out of her.
Yeah.
Like her focus.
Yep.
It's just mainly.
Good girl.
Yeah. It's just not about like being aggressive or.
Yep.
It's just random stuff. Like a dead squirrel.
Yeah.
She would be curious and she would bite on it and just try to get her attention. And no, it's a dead squirrel. So
Yeah.
I don't want her to like get.
Yeah.
Thing serious.
Well, so here's the number one thing. Good girl. Good girl. Yes. The number one thing you have to remember, right? If you don't mind, I'm gonna sit here.
Yeah, go ahead.
The number one thing you have to remember is you are the boss. Right? Especially as a puppy, the more autonomy you give the puppy, as she gets older, she is going to take advantage of that because that's what you have taught her, that she has the right, to do these things, whatever it is, right? So, the trick with a puppy is obviously you don't want to be too aggressive, but you have to be assertive, right? There is a difference. Aggression is unwarranted, right? Meaning that why are you being so aggressive in this situation that doesn't cause for aggression, right? But being assertive is letting her know that what I say is what I mean, right? So when I say no, that means stop. Because, and the most important thing, and I always use these examples because I believe it helps kind of bring home why obedience is so important. Okay. Because again, you live on a busy road, right? It may be a day where she runs out that door, right? And you being able to say, Una, no, stops her in her tracks. And a car goes by right after she stops. Meaning if she didn't stop, she could have got hit by that car, right? So I like to put pictures like that in your head because even though this is not as serious as that, this leads to that. Yeah. You see what I mean? This is all steps to.
I get it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I mean.
Good girl. Good girl.
And that's great. I mean, that could happen, really.
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely, it could happen.
It could be like some random kid there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It could be a bigger dog. It could be anything. Exactly. Yeah. It could be anything, right? And, obviously you can't control what other people do. You can only control what you do and what she do. So that's why being assertive in situations like this is important. And I would do it, but I don't want to take the leash and make her even more anxious or confused, right? Because I just came in the house, me coming in and laying the hammer down will confuse her. So, but yeah, it's very important that, you let her know, like, hey, when I say no, that means stop. And that's why the leash is so important, because that allows you to reinforce.
Oh, yeah. This has been a huge help.
Yeah.
Inside the house.
For sure. That's good. Yeah. That's good. How's she doing on her potty training and stuff?
We're getting there.
Okay.
I mean, she is bigger now, so she is able to hold it.
Yes. Yeah.
But we kind of like have a picture like every 2 hours.
She
gets it.
Okay.
Sometimes when she goes to the door.
Okay. You take her out.
Yeah, we take her out.
That's good.
Yeah, that's kind of like a signal aside from her, which is in the playpen. She cries, and that's when we know,
she needs to go out.
She needs to go. She needs to do number 2.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Pretty
Yeah,
girl.
and before you open the door, she would just brush it. Now she waits.
Okay, that's good.
Because my house slippers are different from outside slippers.
Okay, okay.
You got poo and all that stuff in there.
Yeah,
So I like her to wait before I
yeah.
come in the house, change
Gotcha.
my slippers. So
That's good.
it's good, yeah. And just be more patient with food.
Yeah.
Before she would just like rush in.
Russian. That's
and,
good.
But now she's just more patient. She sits, does that
Good girl.
thing, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lay it out on the plate. That's when she
That's good.
has her meal,
That's good.
Yeah, it's been really helpful, and the walking has improved a lot.
Okay.
Before she would just be like crazy.
Yeah.
Pulling the leash.
Okay.
Now she gets it.
That's good.
That video that you sent.
Yep.
When she's pulling
Yep.
away.
Yep.
You tug the leash.
Yep.
Call her back.
Call her back.
Place,
yeah.
Sit.
And then walk again.
Forward and then
yeah.
Walk again. Yeah. She's getting better. I mean, it's not perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not perfect. I mean, especially when we're walking back home, she
okay.
knows that she's going home.
She's going home, so she gets excited.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. And that actually use that as leverage, right? Mm-hmm. Because obviously the house is the reward, right? So use that as leverage. Use that as a training opportunity, just like anything else, right? It's almost like use the house as a treat, right? Anything that she gets excited for. Yeah, use it as a treat because obviously she's excited to go back home, right? So make her work for it, right? Make her slow down, right? Like literally one step at a time. Like remember when we came and I was one step at a time, right? Every time she got excited, nope, we got to go back, gather yourself. Gotcha. Then when she's calm, we move forward because what we're trying to associate her brain with is the more calm you are, the faster you get the things that you want. The more excited you are, the longer it's going to take for you to get the things you want, right? It's kind of like reverse psychology, right? Normally, we allow them when they're excited to get the things that they're trying to get to. Okay. But then obviously that causes all of the bad behaviors that we don't like, right? So now we got to do the reverse thing. We have to teach her brain like, oh, when I'm like this, that's when I get all of the good girl. Yeah. She's calm now. Exactly. Because we're telling her brain, I like this, right? This is what I like. And believe it or not, this is a happy dog, right? This is a happy, confident dog when they're able to relax like this, right? But obviously when they're in that state of mind of, what's going on? What's this? Right. That's stress, right?
No.
There you go. Give her one more correction.
No. Una. Una.
Good.
Okay. Una.
Okay.
No. Una.
Okay.
Una.
There you go. There you go.
Good girl.
There you go. Good. Yeah. So the biggest thing for you is just working on that.
The tag and yes.
Yes.
Getting more attention, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
a lot of practice.
Look, give yourself time. The beautiful things about the one of the things that I love about dogs is you can mess up 1,000 times. And as long as you're not abusive, right? As long as you're being fair, they will love you the same. They won't even remember the time you messed up. But they will remember if you mess up 1,000 and you get it right 10 times, they're going to remember the 10 times over the 1,000, right? That's the beautiful thing about dogs. They forget very easily. And they're designed like that by nature. Okay. So, don't try to be perfect. Good girl. I mean, that's a good girl, Una. Hey, pretty girl. Yep.
I mean, that's kind of like a huge weight on me, the exact thing that you said, don't be perfect.
Don't try to be perfect, man. Don't try to be perfect. Just try to get better. That's good girl. Just try to get better.
It gets frustrating, like,
yeah.
She's not getting it, and then you're like, I want to be perfect. But
yeah.
In reality, you can't be perfect.
You can't be perfect. It takes time, and I'm telling you, I have my dogs in the car now. I have my Rottweiler, and I have his daughter. And even he's 6 going on 7. We still train. It's you can ask any trainer. Training never stops. Right? Now, obviously, over time, the more work you get in, the better it is, right?
The better results, right?
but it never stops. And that's the thing that I try to get people to understand all the time. Like, training is not okay, we do it for 4 weeks and she'll do it forever.
No.
Doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work like that. Good girl. That's a good girl. Yeah.
They're just not gonna do it. No.
Oh, you have to teach them first, right? You have to teach them first. And then once you teach them, you can hold them accountable for it because you know they know it, right? And that's the key thing. We expect dogs to do things that we haven't taught them how to do it yet.
So is there like a time frame? Okay, by 6 months you should know the basics, or is that being unfair?
No, it depends on the work that you put in, and it
Okay.
depends on the clarity of communication.
I see.
You see what I mean? So you can set milestones, right? But it's based on the amount of work that you put in and the clarity
Okay.
in the communication, right? And that's what I was trying to explain about, the timing of the taps, when you use her name, when not to use her name, and again, it's kind of one of those things where it's not cookie cutter. It takes a little time to know, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do in this situation. You know what I mean? And every time it may be a little different. You kind of play with it. But as you get better at it, you'll pick it up, right? It'll become second nature. Yeah.
She's more relaxed now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that's pretty much it, really.
Okay.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. No problem, man. No problem. And then, of course, I'll see you in this video so you have it as well.
Sure.
And then, you got 2 more sessions. So I say definitely, work on this. Once you kind of get that down, then we can go to the next thing.
Okay.
All right, well, man. Miss Una,
Thank you.
you going to come give me love? Come.
Okay.
Good girl. Yes.
Girl.
That's a good girl. That's a good girl, Una, baby. Yeah. You pretty girl. Those pretty eyes. Yes. So, yeah. Yep. Of course, it's always a pleasure, my friend.
Thank you.
And don't hesitate to reach out in between, if you have any questions,
Will do.
and we'll go from there. All right. So, yeah, perfect example. There you go. Call it to you. Yeah.
Una? Oh,
Good.
girl.
There you go.
All right.
All right. I will talk to you guys soon.
Thank you.
All right. You too. All right, beautiful people. So that's the session. That's the follow-up session with Miss Una, the super mutt. She's doing pretty good. Just some basic things she needed to work on to tighten up. And really most of the time it's teaching the owner how to properly communicate with the dog, so there's no there's no confusion, right? That's where a lot of issues come in. The owner doesn't really know how to communicate properly with the dog, and it makes it harder for the dog to learn exactly what it is that they're trying to communicate. So anyway, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Until the next video,